What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Only Pools podcast. I'm TK, your self-proclaimed pool historian, and emphasis on self-proclaimed.
And I'm Brian, owner of AquaServ Pools, here to make sure TK doesn't rewrite history again.
You down with OPP? Yeah, you know me. You down with OPP? Yeah, you know me. You down with OPP? Yeah, you know me. Dive into discussions, no topics too small. From kiddie pools to water parks, we cover it all. We got pool parties and cannonballs too. If it's about water, we talking to you. Interviews with experts and stories to share. From poolside barbecues to water care. We got tips and tricks to keep your pool right. Listen in the morning or at the late night. You down with OPP? Only Pools Podcast. You down with OPP? Every last homie. Only Pools Podcast. Let's go.
Look, just because I said pools were invented for synchronized cannonballs doesn't mean I was wrong. It means I was ahead of my time. But seriously, today we're diving into the history of pools. Brian, I'm talking ancient civilizations, weird inventions, and maybe even a little royal drama.
Sounds good to me. Pools have been around for thousands of years, so there's a lot to cover.
All right, let's start with the OG of swimming pools, the ancient Greeks and Romans. Did you know they built some of the first pools for exercise and military training? No pool parties, just soldiers doing laps.
Yep, and the Romans took it to the next level with their public baths. These things were massive. They had heated water, marble tiles, and even libraries nearby. It was like a spa, a pool, and a wellness center all rolled into one.
Wait, they had libraries next to the pools? So you could take a swim, then grab a scroll and chill? Now that's the living.
Exactly. The Romans were all about luxury. Some of their pools even had elaborate mosaics on the floor. Imagine looking down and seeing art while you're swimming.
Okay, I'm officially jealous of the ancient Romans, but let's fast forward a little bit. Did you know that England built some of the first modern swimming pools in the 1800s? They called them baths back when they were public spaces for health and hygiene.
Yeah, back then, pools weren't just for fun. They were seen as a way to keep people clean. This was before indoor plumbing was common, so public pools were like giant bathtubs for the community.
Imagine going to bathe like, hey man, can you toss me the soap while I backstroke?
Thankfully, we've come a long way since then.
All right, here's a weird one for you. Did you know that the first heated swimming pool was built for, wait for it, an emperor in the 1st century? Emperor Nero of Rome wanted to swim in warm water, so they figured out how to heat the pool with a furnace. Talk about VIP treatment.
That's right. And since Nero thought everything he did was a performance, he'd have musicians play while he swam. Imagine having your own poolside band every time you took a dip.
Goals. Absolute goals. But here's where things get a little weirder. In the early 20th century, swimming pools became super popular in Hollywood. They built these ridiculous over-the-top pools for movie stars to throw wild parties.
That's when pools went from being practical to being a status symbol. If you had a pool in the 1920s or 30s, you were living the high life.
Speaking of Hollywood, did you know the first synchronized swimming show started in California? They have performers doing water ballet and eventually became an Olympic sport. So, I guess my cannonball idea wasn't that far off.
I'll give you that one. But synchronized swimming is a little more graceful than your belly flops.
Agree to disagree. All right, let's bring it back to the modern times. The mid-20th century is when backyard pools became a thing thanks to advancement in construction and filtration systems. Suddenly, every suburban family wanted one.
That's when pools went mainstream. Fiberglass and vinyl liners made them more affordable, and better chemical treatments made maintenance easier. The pool industry really took off after World War II.
And now here we are in 2025 with infinity pools, saltwater systems, and TikTok videos of people filling their pools with Orbeez. What a time to be alive.
Yeah, pools have definitely come a long way. But at the end of the day, it's still about the same thing. Relaxation, fun, and maybe showing off a little.
All right, Brian, here's the big question. If you could go back in time to swim in any pool from history, which would you pick?
Ooh, tough one. I think I'd go with one of those Roman baths. Heated water, marble everything. It really doesn't get much better than that.
Solid choice. I'd probably crash one of those 1930s Hollywood pool parties. Just me, a martini, and synchronized swimming in the background. Classic TK.
Classic indeed. All right, folks, that's it for today's journey through the history of pools. Whether you're lounging in a modern infinity pool or imagining yourself in ancient Rome, just remember to enjoy the water and keep it clean.
Thanks for listening to the Only Pools podcast. Stay cool, stay classy, and we'll catch you next time.
And stay with me for our next segment and the pool point. See you there. Welcome back to the pool point, where I get into the gritty details of pool care and maybe throw in a little truth bomb while I'm at it. Today's topic: why our pool service costs more than the other guy. Spoiler alert, it's not because we're trying to make you swim in cash. Here's how this usually goes. You call us for service. And then comes the dreaded question: why is your price higher than the guy down the street? And I know what you're thinking. The other guy said he'd do it for half the price. What's the catch? Well, first off, the catch is probably that you're going to end up paying more in the long run. Let's break it down. The other guy. He's probably running a bare minimum operation. He'll show up, do the bare bones work, maybe toss in some chlorine, sweep around the edges, and call it a day. But here's the thing. You get what you pay for. If you're cool with that, fine. Don't come crying to me when your pool turns into a green lagoon and you end up paying for emergency service. Now, let's talk about what you get when you pay for quality. First of all, our team isn't just some random guy with a broom and a dream. These are experienced, certified professionals who know their stuff. We don't just toss in some chemicals and hope for the best. We're testing everything: chlorine levels, pH balance, alkalinity, filtration systems, you name it, and we're doing it with high-end equipment and a high level of attention that guarantees your pool staying sparkling clean, safe, and properly maintained. And speaking of high-end equipment, we don't cut corners there either. We invest in the best tools so that every job is done right, every time. That means fewer breakdowns, fewer repairs, and fewer headaches for you. Because let's be honest, if your pool pump breaks down on a Saturday and you have to wait a week for the other guy to show up, how much did you really save on that last service call? Plus, our service includes more than just a quick sweep and dash. We're not in the business of offering a one-size-fits-all solution. We tailor our services to your pool's needs, whether it's saltwater pool, heated pool, a pool that feels like it's constantly battling with algae. Every pool is unique, and we treat it that way. We don't do shortcuts, we do complete care. Here's the deal. When you hire us, you're not just paying for a pool cleaning. You're paying for peace of mind. You're paying for a team that's going to show up on time, do the right job, and leave your pool healthier and safer than it was when we found it. And in the long run, that's going to save you money. Trust me, a pool that's well maintained is one that doesn't require constant fixes and costly repairs. If you're asking yourself, why is their service higher? Just remember, you're not just paying for the service. You're paying for the expertise, reliability, and knowledge that your pool is in the best hands possible. The other guy might be a little cheaper, but I guarantee you, he won't get the same level of care. So that's it for the pool point. Until next time, remember, quality costs a little more up front, but it saves you big down the road, especially when it comes to your pool. With that final thought, remember, just keep swimming.
You down with OPP? Yeah, you know me. You down with OPP? Yeah, you know me. You down with OPP? Yeah, you know me. Who's down with OPP? Every last homie. You ever go swimming, man? It's so much fun. Now we got a podcast joining everyone, talking about pools, the stories we share, from backyard splashing to Olympic fair. We got chlorine, pH, and filter tips. Keep your pool fresh, avoiding no slips. With hosts so cool and guests so neat, we're dropping pool knowledge that it can't be beat. You down with OPP? Only Pools Podcast. You down with OPP? Only Pools Podcast. You down with OPP? Only Pools Podcast. Who's down with OPP? Every last homie. Dive into discussions, no topics too small. From kiddie pools to water parks, we cover it all. We got pool parties and cannonballs too. If it's about water, we talking to you. Interviews with experts and stories to share. From poolside barbecues to water care, we got tips and tricks to keep your pool right. Listen in the morning or at the late night. You down with OPP? Only Pools Podcast. You down with OPP? Only Pools Podcast. You down with OPP? Only Pools Podcast. Who's down with OPP? Every last homie. O is for only, the best place to be. P is for pools, come dive in with me. P is for podcast, we talking weekly. Only Pools Podcast, the one and only. Grab your goggles and your floaties too. Tune in to our show, we got stuff for you. Poolside chats to aquatic news. Only Pools Podcast, you can't refuse. We teach you how to clean, how to keep it clear. The best pool stories that you'll ever hear. From summer fun to maintenance prep. Only Pools Podcast, we're your best bet. You down with OPP? Only Pools Podcast. You down with OPP? Only Pools Podcast. You down with OPP? Only Pools Podcast. Who's down with OPP? Every last homie. You down with OPP? Yeah, you know me. You down with OPP? Yeah, you know me. You down with OPP? Yeah, you know me. podcast. Let's go.